Hey guys, Roxbox90 here with a spoiler of the first 5 Mythics from Gatecrash. So I'm not exactly sure where this came from. I think it was posted, they said, on Craigslist, which is kind of strange. Don't know if it's official or not, but they do have artworks, which I'll show you in a second, for these 5 Mythic cards. So I'm going to presume they're real and go with it from there. So since they're all Mythic, they're all pretty interesting cards to check out. So let's jump into them, and I'll kind of give just what I think overall the card, and then maybe how it fits into format slash EDH, which is of course always my focus. So here we go. We got the first card, which is called Enter the Infinite, which is, as you can see, they posted the artwork and everything, which I think is pretty cool artwork here. Very flavorful. Reminds me a little of like Descendants Path. So, Enter the Infinite is 8 and 4 blue, whopping 12 cost for a sorcery. Ridiculous. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your library, and then put a card from your hand on top of your library. You have no maximum hand size until end of turn. And it says a Niv Mizzet quote. But wow, that just is mythic. Especially if you think about an EDH or formats that have over 100 or more cards. That's just ridiculous. Huge effect. So for me, the first thing I thought of was High Tide. I'm pretty sure this could be a High Tide card. You could also manipulate it maybe with like Show and Tell, where you do this to play, I don't know, you do this to Show and Tell to, I don't know, Omniscience to win the game. And I don't know, there's probably some sort of weird legacy-ish combo. In EDH, I'm sure you could make a deck with it. It seems kind of interesting. I'm not sure how to yet, because it just came out, but it definitely seems like a powerhouse card, and very expensive. It tends to lean towards EDH thoughts. So definitely not going to see play in the normal formats, I'm 99% sure, but still pretty cool, and we'll just see what happens with it. Then we have Hellkite Tyrant, our necessary dragon, which is 6 for a 6/5 flying trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts the player controls. Beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. So my thoughts immediately jump to running a Bosch the Iron Golem deck. He's an artifact general that has red in his cost, so it's a red artifact deck essentially. And of course, in a deck that runs Mycosynth Lattice and stuff like that, it's very, very easy to have this as a win condition. It's also a pretty strong card, and an EDH where people run artifacts, particularly against other artifact decks, seems pretty good. In terms of the other formats, particularly Standard and I guess Modern, more so than Legacy, it's a 6/5 flying trample for 6. Pretty powerful top-end card, and its abilities don't really matter so much, but it's just a big beater. So, flying trample. So definitely a sealed all-star, and could be very good otherwise as well. Let's get to the multicolor. We have the first legendary angel, Aurelia, the war leader. 2/2 red, 2 white for a 3/4 flying vigilance haste. That seems to be necessary for all white / red / white red angels, particularly from Ravnica, if you remember Razia. Pretty much like that. Whenever it attacks for the first time each turn, you gain an extra combat phase. So I don't think it's going to be Standard playable. I don't think even Modern playable. EDH, I'm sure you could build a deck, a Boros sort of aggro deck around her. No problem. In terms of using her in Kalia, her ability doesn't work so well if it's not hard cast. But even so, the second turn around, you could definitely use that ability to great effect. So pretty cool, I think, for EDH, even more than other formats. Borborgimos Enraged is 4, 2 red, and 2 green for a 7/6. Legendary Cyclops. He's a Cyclops? I don't remember him being a Cyclops. Maybe he was a Cyclops. Anyway, I don't remember. Trample. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, I presume it says to a player, it's hard to see. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Put all land cards revealed this way into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. Discard a land card, deals 3 damage to a creature or player. Huh. Well, it definitely works for flavor, because it's about him picking up rocks and mountains and things and throwing them. Just makes sense flavor-wise. I don't quite see how to use it effectively. I mean, It's 8 for a 7/6 trample creature. Its ability is, I don't think, good enough to have it in any way work in Standard. I really just don't see how it could work. But in terms of EDH, you could definitely build a deck around it, particularly a deck that runs recurables like Life from Loam and Crucible of Worlds and stuff like that. And being able to shock, you could definitely do something with it. And maybe my L deck, would you run it? Could be. I don't know. It seems just general flavor-wise, that's kind of the point of it. And maybe it'll be cool. Who knows? Then we got a Planeswalker. He looks like a wimp, but he's a Planeswalker, so he's 1 green and a red, so that's Gruul colors. 3 for 3. +1, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. So it's kind of like a piece of Momer Vig, and I like that you could set up the top card to draw an extra card off of it. So if you have a top or Miri's Guile or something, you can set up so that the top card's a creature +1 and put it in your hand so you've drawn an extra card this turn. So that's kind of, it's functional. -2, target creature you control fights another target creature. So this is supposed to be the protection ability, so to speak. I don't know if I like it because it requires that you have a creature in play that's powerful enough to fight. In Gruul colors, granted, it can happen, but to me it seems that it's a pretty hefty risk, especially at -2 for a 3 Planeswalker. It's a pretty hefty cost. I mean, look at the equivalent, like Liliana of the Veil. It's just not, I don't think it's really nearly as good as her ability, her Edict ability. So it's protection, pretty meh, I think. In Standard, maybe not as much, depends on how the Gruul decks turn out. But in terms of EDH, it's just not very good. And then -7, you get an emblem with creatures you control have double strike, trample, hexproof, haste, which basically means in a aggro deck you win the game. An aggro deck, you win the game. And even in Standard, if you run some sort of red-green beatdown aggro, probably the same thing. You're not going to get the -7 off likely, at least not easily. But, he's kind of cool, and his art is gorgeous, even if he looks kind of weird. I'd like to see what his backstory is. So he's okay. We'll have to see. We need more cards to really judge him well. So maybe we'll come back to him when we get more spoilers. And in terms of here, we have the lands. We have the 5 shocks. We have Breeding Pool, Godless Shrine, Sacred Foundry, Stomping Grounds, and Watery Grave. And then the 5 Guild Gates. These are all pretty much known and guaranteed. So that's kind of cool. And that's all we have so far. But still, 5 Mythics. I mean, I can't imagine that MTG, that the Wizards of the Coast plan that, but it's kind of interesting that 5 Mythics appear out of nowhere. Reminds me a little bit, even if it was intentional, reminds me of when the Phyrexia Spoilers things was going on, and like a ton of stuff got spoiled, and then the whole set got spoiled. It reminds me kind of like that. So hopefully not. I really like a fun spoiler season, but if you guys keep watching my channel, I'll hopefully get back to you when spoilers arrive from Gatecrash and other sets in the future. So let me know what you guys think about these cards in terms of EDH or in terms of just using them in general. Flavor, arts, I showed you the arts so you can kind of see that. Let me know what you think. I think it's kind of cool and I'd love to discuss it. So comment below in the description, in the comment section, and check out my channel sponsors in the description. As always, Roxbox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.